Hello allemaal, hello everybody. Come bookstore exploring with me in Utrecht today. So we started out at the Haarlem train station, and then we took the train. So you have to take the train to Amsterdam, and then you can go to Utrecht. Utrecht is the biggest train station in the Netherlands because it's kind of in the center, and so it's like the hub. And Utrecht has these great canals that have these lower bits that are kind of fun. And the first bookstore we went into is Broese. This place was huge. It was 3 floors, so many books in here, and it was really nicely done. They've got these staircases. This one goes up to the second, or kind of like a little mezzanine floor. I actually didn't end up getting there because there was just so much other books to look at. It's a really pretty bookstore. It's really well done. And then I took the escalators up, and so you can kind of see the floor plan. There's like comics and stuff down there. And then up here, I went over to the, food section, the eating and drinking section. Lots of fun cookbooks there. This is like where the 2 buildings were together or separated. That was kind of freaky. Some Dutch literature here. And then all of these green shelves, it says wetenschap, which translates to science, which I think in this case means more just like we would call nonfiction, because there was like psychology and self-help and things about dinosaurs and, all sorts of stuff. So it was all just basically the nonfiction. But I really like these green bookshelves. I thought that they were really cool, and they look really nice. Great place to browse. This was just a really nice browsing bookstore because everything was really well displayed and pretty. Very nice. Then we're over to, this is the English book section. I think mostly English nonfiction. So in a lot of Dutch bookstores, like the nonfiction, you'll find a lot of English books and they're just in there together. But these are the English fiction novels for adults. And you can see in the background, they've got a nice little cafe. So you can definitely grab one of these. I think these are all like the fancy TikTok books or the popular TikTok ones. So you can grab an English fiction book and then you can go sit down in this little cafe. You can see a lot. They have a really good selection of English books. And then how cute is this spot? Sit here, have some tea, read your book, look at the beautiful canal. Okay, well, it's a little bit gross today looking because it's kind of brownish. It was a drizzly day in February, so it wasn't the greatest day to be wandering around, but it's a good day for bookstores. Now we're down in the kids section. It was really bright and fun in the kids section, really big too. I really appreciate when the kids section has a lot of bright, fun colors, and they really make it a great place for the kids to hang out. And then, of course, most of the books are in Dutch. Totally understandable. This is a Dutch city after all. But they did have a section of English books for the kids as well. And just some more. I like the bright yellow. I think that was really fun. And then I like how they set out books down below here too so that the kids could get at them pretty easily. And here's a nice book about dragons. Beautifully illustrated, I thought. And then that's looking into the main area. The entrance is on the far left. And then I can sweep back around. You can see pretty much the whole kids section and how big it was. And then we walked down the canals. So the canals in Utrecht are kind of special. They've got these buildings underneath into them. And they've sometimes got cafes and clothing stores and places where you can go shopping. So Utrecht is a very fun city in my little daughter's hands. And then for some reason, I don't know, I found this rock that was chained to a building and I thought, this is strange. I actually found quite a few boulders, small boulders in the way in different places. And then we walked down this one street. I'll put the name if I find it. They just had really nice, these old shop windows and stuff. And so it's just very pretty. And then this isn't actually a bookstore. This is a game store, like board games and D&D and stuff. And I just thought that you'd really appreciate the super cool way that they did their shelving. I really hope that is really well anchored on there. This is the whole size of the shop. That was it. You saw the whole thing. It was a very small shop, but I think they did a really great. It totally felt like you were in Diagon Alley or something. And then on my way to the next bookstore, I found this place. I was a little sad that I had already eaten because it looked tasty. So this is Steven Sterk. It's another bookstore, but it is like literally right next to the Dom Tower, which is this big clock tower. And inside they've got a nice chandelier. It's nice and bright. It's much, much smaller than the Broese Books that we went into earlier, but they still had a nice selection, and it was a very pleasant atmosphere, I thought. This is the English book section over here. And then they have a little kids section. Again, they don't have the space. It's a much smaller bookstore, but they still had kids stuff. And then they did have a beautiful view out the back window to this garden. On the left there, that's the Dom Tower. It's getting refurbished right now, but this is part of Utrecht. I think that's maybe the City Hall or something. Then I went to Paper Moon Books. Now this is an English language children's bookstore. So it's just children's books in English. It's just the cutest little shop. The window has a bunch of these vintage books in it right now, because they do sell new, used, and vintage books. So they have a nice display of those. And here is inside that big window, and they just did a really nice job. It's a cozy, fun little place. It's not that big. This is the whole thing. You're seeing it all in these photos. But they've got nice displays, and of course, kids books. They're doing some beautiful things with kids books nowadays. So it's really nice to see the bright colors and stuff. And then on this wall, there is a big selection of vintage books. So like old Winnie the Poohs, and they've got Tolkien, and they've got all these books, that have some really great style to them. And this is a really cute bookstore. I ended up getting this book, Adeline and the Yellow Cat. It's kind of almost more of a graphic novel. There's a lot of pictures in it, but I do recommend it, especially if you're going to read it to young children. So this is the 3 bookstores that I went to in Utrecht. They are all really nice. And thanks for joining me.